Good evening everybody, welcome to the iRacing Esports Network and welcome to the second race meeting of the season in the World GT Championship. Today we've headed east to Norfolk to be precise for round 2, and we're coming to you from the Snetterton circuit here in the UK. It is in the middle of a heat, we're about to embark on a heat wave here in the UK, and I'm expecting plenty of hot spicy action else on the circuit. In the commentary box we've got something similar alongside me, Adam Bath. It's Norfolk's very own Sam Fitzpatrick, and Sam, as a local, you're the perfect person to explain what it takes to get around this circuit.
Absolutely, I've been to this circuit a few times, not too many times, but quite often, and it is a crown jewel in the Norfolk countryside, it's safe to say, and a unique circuit, I'd say, in comparison to the other circuits that we'll visit this season. A lot of slow corners, very narrow track this, and lots of tight twisty corners, very difficult to overtake as well. And it'll be interesting to see if these drivers can adjust, because remember, this track, been on the surface for less than 2 years, a lot of these drivers may never have raced around here before, so how well will they be able to adapt to this new challenge? Yeah,
looking forward to it. As if you're new to this series, welcome. You've only missed one race meeting, so plenty of time to catch up on the iRacing Esports YouTube channel. That began at Brands Hatch. We remain in the UK here for Snetterton, and after 3 races, according to the championship standings, it is Lockwood that leads the way for Racecraft Esports, with Thibaut Gazalban in second. Then it's Fletcher in third, fourth Cocktrox, and then Challoner in fifth. Just 18 points separating the top 5. BMWs, Ferraris and Porsches represented there. Then it's Christian Rose 6th, Carl Janssen 7th, Maxime Brient in 8th, 9th Lewis Bibby, joint 9th in fact, with Steve Baxter. Over in the AM category, it is Lewis Bibby that leads the way there. He has a 40-point cushion over Miguel Freitas. Then it's Helm, then Woodhouse, Simon Underhill, Kaiser, Blake Hood, Eagleston, Gray and Eipenberg running out the top 10 there. And finally, in the team standings, it is Radicals Online Turn Racing that lead TX3 by Thrustmaster by 5 points. That's pretty much nothing in terms of team championship battles. TechSense Fitzstein Motorsport in third, and we've got Radicals Online Motif in fourth, Free Racer fifth, Nomad Sim Racing White in sixth. Then it's seventh for Racecraft Esports, the team that have got the driver. They've got Lockwood leading the way in the Drivers' Championship. Then it's CQR Club 8th, KC Racing Esports 9th, and Team Ad in 10th. TechSense Fitzstein Motorsports, by the way, third overall, top of the Pro-Am teams. That is the housework out of the way, so it's time to go down to qualifying. And we've got the... we'll get the session up in a second. Let's get the timing screen up, and let's focus on Thibaut Gazalban. Here he is. He's currently fastest in the qualifying session, and we did expect to see this pace from him in Brands Hatch, Sam, but from memory I don't think granted he was up in the top 10, but he wasn't able to get too much in terms of pulling away at the front. Wonder if we'll see that here today with a bit more expansive racetracks like we have here at Snetterton compared to Brands Hatch.
Yeah, of course, a very flat surface this, so maybe a little bit more basic perhaps for Gazalban, and yeah, he's going to be right at the front. That BMW, it does take quite a lot of space on the circuit. He goes past his teammates, but of course just warming up currently. Not too long a circuit this, so the drivers should get a decent amount of laps in 15 minutes this qualifying session. All the drivers out on the same circuit as you can see, and once the timer gets down to 0, they can complete the lap that they started. And Gazalban just trying to line himself up for the to find a space on the circuit, but it could be a little bit difficult with this massive amount of drivers around. But really, in terms of the championship, that first round, there were a few drivers who really excelled, like Lockwood, yeah, Gazalban and Fletcher in particular. I think all 3 of them got 3 top 10s, which in this series is a massive achievement when you think of the quality and the fact that we've got 2 of the races are reverse grids. So if they can just keep up that consistency, they're going to be in with a chance of the championship at the end of the season. But really, after one round, we have no clue who's going to be on top going into round 15 later on in the year.
15-minute qualifying session, and we're on board here with Gazalban going into the first corner. Double apex right-hander towards Wilson, the hairpin. Watch out on the track map on the right-hand side to see if anybody's coming up on any quick laps. Maxime Brient is on the Bentley straight at the moment. You can see a high concentration of drivers in this first sector. Through the long left-hander goes Gazalban down to the hairpin. One of the key taking points on this 300 layout. I believe this is Agostini. It is. Down to second gear. Doesn't decide to pull first. Now back up through the gears we go. Are we going to get into fourth? No, we remain in third for the left-hand flick. And then on the brakes again into Oggies, the right-hander here, as we get set to rejoin the original layout. And it looks like, I think Gazalban has abandoned this one, which is perfect timing, because here is Maxime Briand. His teammate is going to come across the line. He was in second. He's down to third, because look who's up in second. It's this man. He wasn't at Brands Hatch, Sam, but he's here today. It's Josh Thompson for Thrustmaster Movano Racing.
Absolutely, and we can guarantee that we'll get an interview with him at the end of the race. Always up for a chat is Josh, and he's usually a pretty good job to chat to, because he tends to know how to go fast. That's not how to go fast though, around that particular corner, just pushing a little bit too hard. You can see maybe this was well, yeah, up in second place. He's still going though. He's not turning back to the pit, so maybe he has enough fuel to set another lap coming up. No, he is going to go. No, don't know. Who knows what Josh Thompson's going to do? Just saying past the faster car. So yeah, he's got another lap of fuel to go. He's currently Thibaut Gazalban then on pole position. 2 lengths clear of Josh Thompson. Keith Calamari has just gone up into third position. Then it's all very close in those places from kind of second all the way down to about 10th place at the moment. And then, of course, you've got championship leader Brian Lockwood up there in the BMW. Not quite sure how the BOP is going to work out in this race. If anyone's got any clues, any hypotheses over which is going to be the first car, please let us know. Seemingly, the BMW a pretty good all-rounder, and has got good drivability. Might be very good out of the slow corners around here at Snetterton, whilst the Ferrari perhaps a little bit faster at the end of the long straights, so maybe won't take such advantage around here. As we see Ash Sutton, who wasn't around for last race either. I think currently down in 14th place, of course the 2017 champion of what's the British Touring Car Championship. Apologies, of course.
I think
still in 14th place.
I think any form of memory just left you then for a brief moment, Sam. I think it was 2017. I think it might be actually 2016. I think Colin Turkington has won it for the last 2 consecutive years. He won it in the final year for the for the 1 Series, and I think he won it in the 3 Series last year. So at least that's what I think. Anyway, I need to get the reviews out. Top 10 then in qualifying with 7.5 minutes to go. It's Gazalban, then Thompson, then it's Keith Camilleri in third, Brian Lockwood in fourth, Carl Janssen in fifth, the reigning champion putting one in there. Then it's Maxime Briand, Michael Evdoka, Christian Challoner, then it's Jake Blackall and Arthur Lehouk, one of the two. That's going to be another DM to us at the end. Shout out to now I'm trying to find him on the entry list, to Ethan Bass. Got in touch with us
well done.
Afterwards. There you go, got the name right. And yeah, it's Bass like the fish, not the guitar. Good describing there the name. That has definitely been written down on the notes. As here is Ash Sutton on a what looks like pretty much an outlap. No sign of any green boxes for him, as everybody gets set to make their final runs. Gazalban just coming back out onto the circuit. Lockwood's on an outlap. Maxime Briand's come into the pits. Top am at the moment. It's our championship leader. Here he is. It's Lewis Bibby, and he's doing well in the Pro-Ams, and TechSense Fitstyle Motorsports are doing very well in the Teams Championship. They are third overall, Sam, but top of the Pro-Am category as well. So they've had a very good meeting at Brands Hatch. They'll be hoping to build on that here. Yes, and this is their home race with the team manager, Jack Stiles, from Norfolk, just down the road from me. And so really, this really ought to be their best race of the season. And Lewis currently backing that up very well, and he's had a very strong round one. But of course, it can go southwards so quickly. You just get caught up in a race 1 collision. All of a sudden, you're outside of the reverse grids for race 2. You're starting in the back, can't get in the reverse grid for race 3, and you can have a pretty dire meeting, all just from maybe 1 spin. And so he's got to make sure that doesn't occur. But currently,
He's putting himself in with a very good chance. Currently in 19th place. Not too much movement amongst the top positions. Both Thompson and Camilleri aren't going to get another lap in. What can Bibby do? Crosses the line, and in fact that was just an out lap, so he's going to go for one now, and seemingly it's got a little bit of some space out there. Brian Lockwood, is he currently on a fast lap? 1:43. Joe just coming to the start finish line now.
That's a starter lap, isn't he? He's coming through the final corner now. The Racecraft Esports driver. We spoke to those guys after the final race on a week ago today, and they were pretty happy. And you just look at the clock there, Sam. He managed to cross the line with about 2 seconds left. So I reckon he's probably going to be the final person to take the checkered flag. One thing I'm not too sure on is whether Thibaut Gazalban crossed the line. There is no checkered flag next to his name, which makes me inclined to believe that he did just about take the checkered flag before that, take the line before that checkered flag fell. So these two are definitely going to be ones to watch. They're going to be lastminute.com when it comes to the line. There's a slow car there because Albon's already gone off, so that would be his lap invalidated. No way that he is going to improve on his provisional pole time, which is a 1:39.8. The only driver to get into the 39s, in fact. So this is going to be interesting to see. What's Lockwood doing, though? That is the question. First sector, 31.5. That is 6 tenths quicker than Thibaut Gazalban on the last lap. No way of checking to see if this is going to be his best of the session so far as he runs onto the Bentley straight.
Yeah, pushing it with the off-track. So easy to pick up an off-track through a few of those corners. Easy to pick up a slow down as well. Keep an eye out on that one when they're coming out of that 300 section complex. And then just getting the car stopped. Don't hit that inside curb. Just a little bit hesitant on the throttle there. Kind of lots of speed in on the corner. But this being a pretty good lap. That's our 1XO. Guaranteed for Brian Lockwood, and maybe was down on his delta, had to push hard, or maybe he was up on his delta and had a chance at pole position. But either way, he's looks like he's going to start from 4th position. Thibaut Gazalban, well, he's certainly not pushing out there, so not sure if he may have gone off the circuit, as Adam was saying earlier on. Not many drivers still out there. Brandon Tabone, I believe, also Simon Underhill, and James Eagleston. Those are the only drivers left, but they all didn't manage to start their final lap time, unfortunately. So that is qualifying done, I think. And, well, 2 tenths to a second, Adam. It's quite a big gap between first and second. That could be as big as we get for the entire season. But with the fact that we have 2 verse grids, of course, in this series, along with mega competitive drivers up and down the field, I doubt today is going to be a comfortable evening for Thibaut Gazalban.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty tricky evening for everybody, but pretty much because the 300 layout, even though they've added a few overtaking opportunities, it's not always the easiest place to get them done. You have really got to force the issue a little bit, and in these World GT cars, they can take a bit of a knocking, but hit them in the wrong way, and you could end up breaking a bit of steering, like we saw up at Druids in the first race. Right then, as you can see, it is a very, very short pace lap, which means the grid's going to be pretty interesting. Let's have a look at it. Thibaut Gazalban starts on the pole position. Second, Josh Thompson, and it's Keith Camilleri. In third, then it's Brian Lockwood. Fourth, Carl Janssen. Fifth, then Maxime Briant. Then Michael Evdoka, Christian Challoner for Radicals Online Turn Racing. Then Jake Blackhall, 9th for the Aussie. And Artur Lehokin, 10th. Then it's Mark Fletcher, 11th. Marco Mogren, the Swede, in 12th. 13th for Richard Gafenku, then Dave Baker, and 15th on the grid is Christian Rose. Ash Sutton in 16th, completing a trio of CQR club cars. And it's a CQR Evolution Beamer driven by Dan Kraft. Then it's Barry Baird, Lewis Bibby, top AM driver in 19th, and 20th for Andy Shield. 21st, Brandon Tabone, then Billy Fletcher, then Ben Hackerson, Richard Warmingham, Pete Harrods. Then we've got quite a few Pro-Am drivers here, and Dennis Eipenberg, Ashley Bate-Cood, Mark Woodhouse. Then we've got Jerome Kaiser, Simon Underhill, Mike Gray, Chris Wood for Team Mad in 32nd. Then Matt Bunn, 2 seconds off the pace. James Eagleston for Year 1 Fury Motorsports. SimSports, got the first part of that team name right, didn't get the last bit. Michael Blake, then Dan McCauley. Then it's Rob Cuss, Paul Gosling, Ethan Bass. Then John Tusting, Dion Phillips, Pete Newman, Ben Gregory, Mike Partington. And then Chris Daines, Namella, Edward Rapridger, and Ben Palmer right at the back. The top the bottom 4, all not setting times. A 48 strong entry list getting set for the first race of the day here in the World GT Championship. There is your front row. There's Gazalban and Thompson in second. There he is. Going to be really intriguing to see what the Thrustmaster Bavano car driver can do. Car 49 starting second. And Ferrari, pretty well represented, but it's still them and BMW that hog the limelight. You're going to have to go back all the way to 8th, Sam, to find the first Porsche.
Yes, and where are the Fords? The Ford is a fantastic car, personally my favourite GT car, but unfortunately the BOP has never been particularly favourable to the Ford, but I hope you'll see it a little bit later on in the season. So Kazorban from the pole position, difficult first few corners. Watch out for that hairpin because it could get quite dicey with some drivers making a dive.
Here we go then. Safety car goes into the pit lane. When's Tibot going to go? He's going to go now. Doesn't catches the field a little bit unawares, in fact. Look at them all streaming through the final corner. Green lights are on and we're away here at Snetterton. Oh, crash already. That's Ash Sutton. He hasn't lasted long at all. He took out a cameraman a couple of years ago, or nearly took out a cameraman in the British Touring Car Championship. And he's had a crash before we've even got going here in race 1. Into the Wilson hairpin then. Everybody trying to get through cleanly. We're going to see a lot of too wide here. It's almost like Druids at Brands Hatch this. And fortunately for Gazalban and TX3 by Thrustmaster, they've been able to maintain the lead, but not what Ash Sutton have wanted. Missed the first 3 races of the season at Brands. Oh no, there's another one in the wall. And that's another CQR club car. This time it's the Porsche of Christian Rose. What's going on here? They're having a disaster of a start here, and there's more cars off for the back too.
Rose so consistent always, but falling to the rear of the field straight away. So Rose, Phillips, Bass and Underhill as well, all getting poor starts. Sutton is towed back to the pits. They do get a faster pair, so they might still finish on the lead lap, but they are going to get they're going to be super lucky to get any decent positions here as Kazorban leads the field away down the back straight. Seemingly no changes of position down here so far. Big gainers. Arthur LeHook up 2 places from 10th place on the grid, and also Richard Kapenku up 2 places. But in terms of the top 7, no changes whatsoever, and they've all sorted into single files. Jake Blackhall has an off, and he was up in about 9th position, I believe, but he's going to drop way down. You see him waiting for the drivers to stream by, and that is really a bad start for CQR, no doubt.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what CQR team you drive for. It looks like it's this jinx is affecting everybody. Look at this at the end of the opening lap, because Albon is going to be in a fight for the lead now, because here comes Josh Thompson through the first corner. Really couldn't be much further away from home, Josh, in terms of British Isles. He's on the Isle of Man, and this is in East Anglia, literally covering the whole distance of the UK to get here. But Gazalban at the end of the opening lap leads. Josh Thompson in second. Then it's Camilleri, Lockwood, Janssen, Brilliant, Evdoka, the top 7, all where they started. And Thompson putting a few wheels onto the dirt there on the exit. Oh, and a problem for one of the Porsches.
Chalaner.
Oh, dear me. Radicals Online, Turn Racing, having a bit of an issue there, but looks like he hasn't hit anything crucially and has been able to carry on, but he has dropped down to 11th place as a result. And you can see there are cars kicking up the dirt. There isn't too much in the way of tarmac runoff area here, as Rob Cuss and Dan McCauley look like they have crashed, and that is down at the hairpin at Agostini. Let's take a look at what happened on the replay. This is Rob Cuss. We are looking at the Radicals Online Sim Mortal car's going to be hit up the inside and almost flipped onto its roof. While we were on the replays, this gives us an opportunity to see what on earth happened to Ash Sutton. Here it is. We'll go from the chopper here. There he is with the blue mirrors. Race gets going. Oh, he moves across. Oh. Right down the centre straight. Right, moves across on his teammate, and that is the story of Ash Sutton's demise. Wow.
I mean, CQR, in that instance at least, can't feel too sorry for themselves, because, yeah, I was thinking he couldn't have come together with his teammates because he was surrounded by them. But, yeah, just a little bit of spatial awareness maybe, and, yeah, round he went. So disappointing to see that. Certainly going to be a dark horse for the future races as Eagleston is round. And who is that with him? Mark Woodhouse as well. So we've had quite a few casualties so far. Of the 48 drivers, I think 10 of them have crashed so far. And this is what happened.
Well, this is Dennis Eipenberg. Just before it happened, you can already see the Year 1 Fury SimSport car is off at this point. But here's what's going to happen a little bit further up the road into turn 1. Woodhouse has already gone by this point. Here it is. Let's see if this tells the tale of what happened here. Here is Eagleston. Oh, Woodhouse had already gone at this point. And he comes around the corner to see a face full of Team Mads. Not really much he could do about it. Oh my word, 2 Porsches going for a ride there in the early going. They'll be hoping to get back to the pits and get that repaired and get going again. Use that one fast repair they've got. If they've already used it, tough. They're going to have to hold out for a good starting spot for race 2. As we look here in a battle between Chris Daines, Sharon Kaiser, Michael Blake, and a word on Daines. He's gained 19 spots since the start of the race. Definitely the biggest mover in the field by a little bit here, up to 26 spots, and he's already putting more pressure on Sharon Kaiser. Daines was the pole sitter in race 1 at Brands Hatch, let's not forget either, Sam.
Yeah, I was just thinking how it's quite ironic how he's probably going to finish higher by starting way down the field than he did at Brands Hatch, because at Brands Hatch got caught up in a collision, barely finished the race as we got someone slow on the inside. Who is that? Kazorbon from the lead. T-Bolt Kazorbon looked as though he was heading for the victory. Josh Thompson wasn't really getting that close. He hadn't launched a proper attack all race long, but Kazorbon, well, whether it's a self-mistake or maybe a tap round, he has dropped down into 5th position, and it's now Josh Thompson leading the way.
Well, it was unseen live, but we're going to see it now through the first corner towards the Wilson hairpin. What is going to happen here? Is he going to send it up the inside, Josh Thompson? No, he isn't, because Albon's just going to lose it mid-corner. That is pretty strange, but he gets going, doesn't hit anything, and he'll be able to take stock and get going again from here. Billy Fletcher is chopping down the order. What's happened here? Oh my goodness me, there's a Year 1 car off as well. This is down the middle sector. The Radicals Online Motor car has got going. He's going to be way down the order though, in 39th, 40th place. So not what he would have wanted. A lot of cars seeing the infield and outfields of this circuit. If you go off at turn 1, or I think if you go off in fact at turn 2, you end up in a bit of a field really, shades of Croft. Croft hosts the British Touring Car Championship race meeting. If you go straight on at the end of the back straight there, you definitely go off into a field. Dion Phillips, the latest casualty, that is at Nelson's, and he has a tow back to the pits. So more cars falling by the wayside here, Sam.
Yes, a lot of it's surprising around the circuit, which has vast fields as runoff areas, that quite so many just have picked up terminal damage, and yet here we are. Hopefully we'll improve for races 2 and 3. Here's Janssen then, of course the defending champion and so reliable, one of the most experienced drivers. I believe he's done every season. Well, that was pretty daring. That's a move for maybe a rookie, because it was very aggressive, and well, good credit to him, it very nearly worked. But in the end, Lockwood just stays ahead. Nearly lost out to Kazorbon. There did Janssen. But that was a surprise move, and that's what you got to go for here around Snetterton. A few kind of slow corners like that. And, well, that could have been his best chance. Was almost nose to tail. Nice response there from Lockwood to nip back down the inside. The defending champion versus the championship leader, of course. And if it ended like this, Lockwood would just extend that championship lead further.
Interesting situation for Tilwakkers Albon here. He is leading his teammate Maxime Briant, who is right behind him, and then he's got his other teammate Artur Lahukin in 8th place here. So good solid start to the evening for these guys. Of course, there's still over half the race meeting to go, so we'll see if they can improve on that. Close battle here. This is going into the bomb hole. This is Mike Gray getting past Ashley Blake Cudds, the all-pink Simauto Smile Time car. Shades of David Pinkney in the British Touring Car Championship from yesteryear in 22nd. Simauto Smile Time.
Oh, Fletcher and Bass having a bit of a issue, I believe.
Oh, hello.
Dropping down a little bit.
Yeah, this is Bass, and he is off in just going into the bomb hole. So problem there. Billy Fletcher may have been may have gone off the track as well, but he has carried on. He is down in 39th place. There he is. So once again, a bit more drama. Here it is, the lead battle though, and I wonder if this could be something that we're going to see throughout tonight. The Ferrari's looking pretty strong here. BMWs haven't been able to make too much of an impact. And look at this. This is Thibaut Gazalban down to 6th position now as his teammate gets by. And now it's the turn of the TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport car, Michael Evdoka, to have a look and see if he can get by. Someone on YouTube's just told me that you're also a team leader, Sam, in this. So you're going to have to be pretty impartial here, I think, as they go onto the backstraight.
Well, I always try to, hence why I didn't mention it, but, well, there you go. Come on, Fitstyle, you can do it. No. But I know Michael is quite an aggressive driver, though, usually, so he's, if anyone's going to be able to make a move, he's probably going to be the one, and you can see how close he is. That Ferrari as well, good down the straights, and of course that's the situation we'll be in. Anyone who's driven the BMW in the GT3 series knows the pain where you just haven't got the straight line speed against your rival. You certainly do want that straight line speed. Here comes Evdoka. That's a really nice exit actually from Murray's, I believe that is. But actually, that slipstream effect not helping him too much, and he's struggling to keep up going down to turn 1. So maybe it's the BMW or maybe just the setup. It's not really helping the Fitstyle Motorsport driver too much. But of course, this is the best opportunity where you look to the inside. You've got to surprise your opponent. He's deep on the brakes. I don't think he wanted to go for the move, but he very nearly went for it. And now he's going to have to try to get the cutback going into the next left-hander. Evdoka can't quite get his nose alongside. He's got to be so careful from behind. You know, of course, Kazorban's teammate Arthur Lehook is right on his tail. This is where we saw Janssen almost make a move a couple of laps ago. But Evdoka not close enough. But really struggling now is Kazorban, usually a driver who I think gets faster in the races, but he's just really struggling to back up that super impressive qualifying lap.
Yeah, of course, as the only driver to lap in the 139s, something is kicked off right in the middle of the field, and it involves actually Blake Cook, Jerome Kaiser and Dan McCauley. Let's see what happens here. This is going down the Bentley Straight, and let's see what formerly known as River Straight. So, Blake Cook locks up. And is he going to get clattered into? I reckon he is. Else they all take evasive action. Oh no, that's one of the Brittech SimSport cars that goes flying into the back of him. And a Ferrari joins the scene of the accident too. That might have been Macaulay. I think it might have been. We'll have to wait and see on that. I think it is. Yeah, SimSports Racing USA. There he goes through into 31st place. Despite that little incident, he's managed to gain 5 spots so far. So it hasn't really impacted his progress too much. Mike Partington, it was Chris Danes in the Brittech SimSport car that went into the back of Blake Hood. That front downforce isn't going to be helping too much, but it's not going to stop him from looking up the inside. Is he going to have a cloud full of understeer? Well, not enough to take him into the side of the BMW, and Danes is going to try and go around the outside here. Will he have a meatball flag? Will he come into the pits at the end of the lap? He's soldiering on regardless. Here as they come up the centre straight. This is a fight over 22nd and 23rd. Danes, by the way, has gained 22 positions. Well, you'll have gained 22 if you can get by Partington here, and he does so. As Partington in the Thrustmaster Movano car takes a huge amount of curb.
Yes, I mean that car's going to be cool, and trust me, outside in this Norfolk weather, it is hideous. As someone who was playing tennis not 1 hour ago, it is quite hot out there, and so any cooling he can get will be very useful off the circuit there. Not trying to give this one up at all is Partington. Of course, one of the top drivers in the world's fastest gamer a couple of years ago in its inaugural season, and Partington is going to play his nose back down the inside. Such a narrow circuit and such a wide car this, it's very difficult, but these drivers are really just in tandem currently, and just side by side through so many of these corners. And now Partington under big pressure once again from Kaiser Danes. You can see he's really struggling down these straights, hence because of that aero damage. But through the corners, he is mighty, and he might just be able to pull out a significant enough gap.
Worrying thing is I had to peel myself off the chair today. It was that hot that it's going to get even hotter. Lovely image.
Yes.
13 minutes into the race, into the opening race of the day here in the World GT Championship at Snetterton in the UK. It's Josh Thompson leading the way with Camilleri in second, then Lockwood, Janssen, Brilliant running up the top 5. We're looking here at a battle for 26th 7th and 28th. This is Marco Namella, who didn't set a time in qualifying, started at the back. He's up to 27th place now. He's gained 19 spots. Matt Bunn starts a little bit further up the field than the Finn, and has only gained 5, but we'll take that. And if he can get a little bit more, he might still be in with a chance of getting in with a potential reverse grid pole. I'll have to wait and see on that. The wheel has been redone for this second week. A few new logos on there, but we'll have to wait and see. And it can always add a bit of spice to any race meeting, no matter how good or how bad the racing is out on circuit. So we look forward to that. That'll be at the end of the opening race. There'll be another one too at the end of race 2, as Chris Daines continues to punch above his weight, really, considering he's got the damage on the front of his Beamer, keeping a World Championship driver in Mike Partington at bay.
Yep, mighty defence at the moment. And I think if it weren't for this damage, I think Daines would actually be pulling away. But who's that ahead of them? Michael Blake. Blake is still pulling away from them, actually. So Daines within 2 seconds of Blake, but I don't think they're going to be able to catch him by the end of the race. And there's pretty much 2 straights round here, but you can see Daines is probably losing about 0.3 of a second on each one, and to make up the time elsewhere on the circuit, it's ever so difficult. Also, you might be facing a little bit of extra understeer as well, not quite getting that same downforce as he was earlier on. But you can see the finishes in sight, and what he's got to remember here is that one place, 23rd to 24th, does it make that much of a difference? It could be a blessing in disguise, of course. With the reverse grid coming up, 24 is the largest reverse grid I believe we can have. So needs to make sure he doesn't get caught up in a collision. Still Thompson leading away. Camillet within 1 second, but really not looking to say he's going to be able to make a move. Lockwood a little bit further back in 3rd ahead of Janssen. He hasn't been able to launch another attack since that dive he had earlier on. And then Bryant a little bit more detached with Kazorban staying on his tail. I don't know if they swapped positions deliberately earlier on, but maybe it was on the condition that Bryant goes and catches and passes the cars ahead. He hasn't done so, so will they change positions again on the last lap of the race? Could have some interesting team orders perhaps coming.
Good battle here between 2 Ferraris. This is Andy Shield and Ben Hackerson going out onto the Bentley straight. Andy Shield driving for Sim Sports Racing USA.
Just behind then is Ben Hackerson as well. A 0.6 of a second behind there. It's warming and rounding out the top 20. Of course, we could have a reverse grid of 16, so really important this. You want to be absolutely as high up as you possibly can. And Shield is lining this one up nicely. Of course, Ferrari versus Ferrari, so there isn't going to be any immediate or any obvious advantage for either car. But maybe just their setups could play quite an important part in this.
They wouldn't think it, but this lap's only 10 seconds slower than what we were doing at Brands Hatch a couple of weeks ago. They were doing around about 1 minute 30s there. And they're doing just over 1 minute 40s here in the race. Not too dissimilar to what they were doing in qualifying, in fact. Here is Mark Partington. He's got by Chris Daines, but now he's going to be held up by Michael Blake, and it's going to open the door for Daines to get a bit back involved, and they've taken each other off. Well, that's not going to help Partington's mood at all. Daines is going to let him get back onto the circuit in front, probably right to. And Partington has now been passed by Palmer and Namella as well. So down to 25th goes the Fussmaster Movano driver.
Ooh, and nearly losing it again there is Daines. Really struggling now. And just a simple mistake, just putting his car in a place where the gap was closing, ever so small contacts, and they were fortunate that it wasn't a little bit more serious than that, Partington didn't get completely spun round. Is it going to be any change here? It's a Docker sandwich, where the TX3 by Thrustmaster are the bread, of course. 2 layers of bread on one side as well.
Oh.
And Abdoka really can't get past at the moment. A Shield drops down. Yeah, Shield's dropped down behind Warmingham and Harrod.
Yeah, he's gone off what looked like at the bomb hole, and the Sim Sports Racing USA drivers had to get going now in 20th place. Top home driver remains Lewis Bibby though, as we enter what is set to be the final lap, I believe, and it looks like he'll be taking maximum points. Gray in second, Blake third, Rapidger fourth, and Bunn in fifth. That is the state of play in terms of the Pro-Am category with a couple of laps to go. Partington on the rampage again. Going to try and get past Namella here into the first corner. Namella was in two minds whether to give him the space or not. Here he goes into Wilson's. This is where he collided with Danes, or where Danes collided with him on the previous lap. No way through, and just in front, Michael Blake, and that is Andy Shield are pretty close. That is Blake getting past, I think. So not too long to go now, just under 20 seconds, and this battle really, really intriguing. But I think Ben Palmer has just scuppered that by going off into the grass, and he's going to be passed by Namella, he's going to be passed by Partington. That grass looks like it's been rained on for many weeks or something. His car just would not move at all as Namella is passed by Danes, and by Partington I should say, and the Thrustmaster Movano car up into the top 23.
Yep, might be enough for reverse grid, as here comes Josh Thompson to the line. He's going to take his first race win of the season. It's certainly not his first in this series. Josh Thompson wins from second place on the grid, ahead of Keith Calamari and Brian Lockwood rounding out the top three. And that was an experienced drive from Josh Thompson, to say the least. Put the pressure on in the early stage, didn't do anything too rash, and found the mistake and led comfortably to the end of the race. And well, if there was any doubts whether or not he was a championship contender, I think there you go. I think that's your answer.
Race victory for TechSense Fitstime Motorsport. It does come in the Pro-Am category, but Lewis Bibby won't care about that one bit. That is a big deal, that championship. Here comes Namella. He has been passed late on by Palmer and by Danes, and is going to finish in P26 in the end. There's so many battles still going on. Daniel McCauley coming across the line, just 2/10 of a second behind Matt Bunn. Christian Rose is getting hunted down here. This is by the CQR Club car of Ashley Blake Hood getting hunted down by Christian Rose, and Rose is through up into 42nd. It's not going to be nowhere near the reverse grid, but a token there for the CQR Club car to hold on to. It's going to be starting right at the back in race 2, so he'll be needs to doing a lot more overtaking to get further forward. Blake Hood finishing in 43rd. I was envisaging things there, but everybody across the line now, and a great start to the day if you are a Thrustmaster Movano Persuasion. Thompson wins, gets a few points on the board for the team there. Things might not have gone too well for some of his teammates in the field, but they'll be very happy with that as we get the race results up on the screen. Reverse grid race still to come. Josh Thompson wins, Keith Camilleri finishing in second, third for Brian Lockwood, Carl Janssen fourth, and then two teammates, Maxime Briant and his teammate Thibaut Gazalben, the pole sitter, finishing in sixth. Seventh for Michael Evdoka, Arthur Lahouk in eighth, then Richard Gafenku, the Romanian in ninth, and Mark Fletcher in 10th. Christian Challoner in 11th, Marco Mogren, the Swede, in 12th, Dave Baker 13th, Lewis Bibby, the top am and the only am inside the top 18, in 14th. Then Dan Kraft, Brendan Tabone, Ben Hackerson, Richard Warmingham there in 18th place. Then 19th for Pete Howard and 20th for Mike Gray. 6 seconds between 19th and 20th there. Andy Shield finishes in 21st place in the end. Michael Blake in 22nd. Then Mike Partington, Chris Danes with a really heavily damaged front end of that BMW. No grill or anything. Manages to pull it back in 24th place. I wonder if the reverse grid could reward him with that. Ben Palmer, 25th. Namella in 26th. Then Edward Rapidger, Chris Wood. Then Jerome Kaiser, Jake Blackhall, and Barry Baird, Matt Bunn, Dan McCauley, Pete Newman, and Billy Fletcher. And then Simon Underhill in 36th. Then 37th, Ben Gregory. Ethan Bass there in 38th. Then Mark Whithouse, Paul Gosling, John Tusting, and Christian Rose. Over a minute behind him, 42nd, getting by Ashley Blake Hood in the final sector. Then Dennis Eipenberg, James Eagleston, Dion Phillips 9 laps down, Rob Cuss 11, and Ash Sutton, before we even started the race, in fact, colliding with one of his teammates, going flying off into the wall before we got going on the Senna straights. He'll be hoping for better things in race 2, and so will everybody else, but we hold their destiny potentially in our hands as we get the reverse grid ready to go for the first time tonight, and we are looking forward to it. Usually we spin the wheel of fortune, it goes around, and whatever number it lands on, that is the number of cards that will be reversed onto pole position. So let's get it up. And we'll be ready to get going here. Let me just get it up on the screen. Here it is. And let's find out who's going to be on pole position for the second race today in the World GT Championship. Well, Chris Danes would have very nearly been on our Christmas card. We would have been very nearly on Chris Danes' Christmas card list. It was very nearly 24. But it's going to be the smallest reverse grid we could possibly get, and that is 14. Who's going to be on the pole, Sam?
Means that will be Lewis Bibby, who of course was top of the Pro-Am drivers. And that's the type of thing that can happen when you have AM drivers or club drivers. Sometimes they can just about get into one of those reverse grids, and it's massively helped Lewis Bibby because he'll be miles ahead of the rest of the Pro-Am drivers. Mike Gray was in second place. He'll be down in 20th. place. So yeah, it'll be Bibby on pole position, Baker in second, Marco Mogren in third, and Chalonier in fourth place. So difficult to pick a winner out of those guys. It was tough to overtake in race 1. Are we going to see more of the same in race 2? I personally cannot wait for it, and it's only 20 minutes away.
Great, well that's great for Texense Fitstyle Motorsport, Pro-Am victory in race 1. Pole position overall for race 2. So I wonder if they can convert that into victory. We'll wait and see when we come back from the break here on the iRacing Esports Network for the continuation of the World GT Championship here at Snetterton.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Coming for a splash. 3, 2, 1, now. All clear, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
Welcome back to Snetterton and welcome back to the World GT Championship on the iRacing Esports Network. We're getting set for the second race. 14 cars reversed, the smallest possible we could have done, and it means that Lewis Bibby for TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport is on pole position. It was a Ferrari that won race 1. Can a BMW get it done here in race 2? A quick look at the grid of how it lines up. It's Bibby on pole for a Pro-Am driver nonetheless, then Baker in second, then Mogren, Christian Schallner, then Mark Fletcher, Richard Gafencu, Arthur Lehook, then Michael Evdoka, Thibaut Gazalban, Maxime Briand, Carl Janssen, Brian Lockwood, and then completing the lineup, it's Keith Camilleri and Josh Thompson. Those are all the cars that finished in the top 14 reversed. After that is where everybody finished. And some big names, some expected to be working their way through the field in the second race, which we will have to try and keep our eyes on, as well as the fight at the front.
Yeah, Chris Daines, whilst he had the front of his car attached to his car, was really quite rapid in that first race. Car number 900 starts in 24th position, and of course right at the back, we got Christian Ray starting from 42nd on the grid. Seemingly no Ash Sutton, from what I can see, which is a bit disappointing, because he was involved in a collision in race 1. But yeah, there's plenty of competitive drivers a little bit further down. Fascinating what's going to happen at the front there. Can Bibby hang on to this? Can Baker maybe overtake and pull away? It's so difficult. These guys are so evenly matched. I can't see any of them making a gap. And, is there a chance maybe for Josh Thompson to take his second race victory of the day? We're about to find out.
A reminder that Porsche in race 1, I think the furthest down, the highest Porsche was in about 8th place. Let's see if Dave Baker can get it done though for Porsche in race 2. Green lights are about to come on. Lewis Bibby puts the power down straight away. The green lights are on, and we're racing at Snetterton for race 2 in the World GT Championship. Look at that BMW up the inside. That is Christian Schallner, I think, or it might be Richard Kafenku, one of the two. He's going to go around the outside the Porsche there, Schallner. Let's see if he can get it done. I think he might just be able to when he gets onto the brakes, but the BMW is going to come back up the inside. It is a very intimidating car. Lots of position changes going on in the midfield. Let's hope everybody can get through safely. It looks like for the most part everyone has. A few cars starting from the pit lane. Josh Thompson hasn't even taken the start. So he's not even going to be in this one. Oh no, car off, car 007. That's got to be Andy Shield. It is. Sim Race, it's a bit of disaster for Sim Sports Racing USA. Another car over there, another teammate's gone off. That was Ben Palmer. He's buried in the wall. So nightmare start for them. It was a nightmare start for CQR in race 1. Sim Sports Racing USA here in race 2 having a similar nightmarish start. But Lewis Bibby, the TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport, he's got the view of his dreams right now. He's got the entire... Oh no, please don't tell me that's a slowdown penalty. He pulls over. That is a slowdown penalty. Dave Baker takes the lead. I don't know if that was a commentator's curse or not. But the CQR Club car leads. Then it's Schallner, Mogren, Kafenku, Gazalban, Fletcher, Janssen, and Lewis Bibby will be lucky if he's in the top 10 by the end of this lap, Sam.
And that certainly was a commentator's curse, at least it wasn't from myself, otherwise I would have had to resign from my position. But there is Bibby all the way down the field. It's so costly on the opening lap. Anyone who's driven on iRacing, of course, that slowdown really affects you on the opening lap. And of course, the fact you've got so many cars behind you as well, just drops you way down the order. Brian Lockwood with an issue then.
Yeah, he's disappeared.
Yes. So, also Jake Blackhall, another disappointing race for Jake Blackhall as well. So, they think we saw that one, but yeah, he's gone way down the order as well. So, he's had a miserable day, but there, I didn't say anyone was going to be able to pull away, but seemingly Dave Baker's trying to prove me wrong at the moment. As we see side by side, that is Kazorbon, who made a mistake from the lead in race 1. And you know what? He's giving himself half a chance. Here's Gafenku coming back, though. Gafenku puts it down the inside. It's ever so difficult for the car on the outside, but I must say the driving standards so far today have been very high. And once again, a lot of space given. Now, Kazorbon might lose a position to Carl Janssen, and Kazorbon might lose another place. So the driver behind really gets him boxed in. We're almost going to see 3 wide around the circuit where 2 wide is difficult. And Kazorbon, well, he's had a nightmarish day so far, and he loses 3 places there in quick succession after trying to gain 1.
Started on the pole, and it looked like everything was going to be great for him. Managed to get a top 10 in race 1, but so far he's... Oh, well, where's he going now? That might be broken steering. The car looks all over the place. It looks like he's managing to point it in a trajectory that's getting it back onto circuit. A little shake of the car to see if all is well. Looks it from within the cockpit, but He's down to 18th place now, and he has got a fight to get his positions back. If you might be able to still be in with a shout at the reverse grid pole in race 2 here, but this is the main talking point in the opening 2 laps. Stuart Albin, who was fighting for about 5th or 4th earlier on, trying to get by Richie Kafenko at the start of lap 2. Instead, he's now having to fight his way through the field from 18th. And look at everybody here, so over the line astern. Little to separate them as they come across the line. This train starting with Lewis Bibby, who's managed to gain a few spots up into 8th now. But he has still lost 7 from where he started, of course, from pole.
Yes, got Keith Camilleri in front of him. Remember, the driver who dropped down just before, because Orban had gained 5 places on the opening lap and was just carving his way through the field, and then just a minor setback like that, you lose your rhythm, and all of a sudden he was offline and in the end fell off the road as well. We've got a spinner, have we? It's Maxime Bryant from 6th position, I believe, so really not going well for TX3. And yeah, he's dropped way back, and I think he's going to be too far back to be able to recover a reverse grid place as well. So Bryant, he had a really good race 1, and so far has had a pretty good season as well. This is what happens. So that's Janssen down the inside. Janssen's got fantastic speed out there at the moment, the defending champion. And are they just going to make contact? I was applauding them, how much space they're giving one another. And well, I think Bryant, did he turn in a little bit? It was difficult to tell from the camera angle I saw. But, well, I think that's probably a racing incident. Maybe could have given him his rival on the inside a little bit more space. And there's Marco Mogren from 2nd position, I believe. And he's now fallen down the order.
Yeah, that's at the end of the back straight. And he's now got going again in 22nd place. The Radicals Online Sim Auto. He's going to get passed by the CQR, by the Sim Auto Small Time car there, driven by Jerome Kaiser. But let's have a look on the replay and see what happened to Marco Mogren. Here he is. He is in 3rd position at this point, trying to defend from Richie Kafenko. Kafenko nowhere near the situation here on the brakes, and he looks like he just loops it. May have clipped the inside curb. It might be worth having a second look at this from the onboard camera. Here it is, going into the left-hander. So maybe lost it on a bump, it looks like. And those 3 green lights, which indicate you're in 3rd place, they are going to be probably extinguished when he gets to the line. Down in 23rd spot at the end of lap 3, start of lap 4 here. So a lot of cars falling by the wayside, just like it was in race 1. Either the best were making mistakes in race 1, and so are everybody else here. Everybody proving their humanity here.
And Janssen's made a mistake as well. Just saw him because he was absolutely charging on his car, Janssen. We've seen him make a few overtakes already. Had gone from, I think, about 9th place on the grid. No, 11th place on the grid. I think he was up into 4th, but he's actually dropped down again, back into 8th place now, Carl Janssen. So really disappointing for him, and all that hard work. Still, it's going to be a decent result. Anything in the top 10 is a success, really. That's how the drivers should be viewing it if they want to win the title. But still, Carl Janssen, half a chance at winning the race, and it's just escaped him right there.
Great battle going on here. Good battle for 5th as well. Keith Camilleri versus Michael Evdoka, and it looks like the KC Racing Esports car has got the move done. He has. He's up to 5th. The Maltese racer driving for Ferrari, or driving in the Ferrari, is up into P5 now, with Evdoka in the Texense Fit Style Motorsport car down to 6th. At least that's what I think it looks like anyway. Over the line we go on to lap 5 of the race. And Camilleri here now trying to chase after Mark Fletcher, who is the 2nd up the road. The fight for the lead is still relatively close, and it's between 2 Porsches. This is Dave Baker versus Christian Schallner. Schallner driving for Radicals Online Turn Racing. Dave Baker racing for CQR Club, who had a chaotic start to the evening. As things stand, they are approaching the halfway mark to a race victory here. Obviously, Baker's going to have to keep Schallner behind, but we'll see what he can do. And it's not often we say this, Sam, but the first BMW is Lewis Bibby down in 7th place. We've got 4 Ferraris in front, and the top 2 driving Porsches. So the cars that were setting the pace in race 1 in terms of qualifying now having to fight their way through the field, and they've got some pretty quick Ferraris in front of them too.
Yeah, and I was really commending how quick the BMW would be around this track and how bad the Ferrari would be, but instead it's been the complete opposite way around. Will be great to hear from some of the drivers from each of the cars to see how they felt their car matched up, and maybe the setup choices that they chose to cover up their respective weaknesses. But yeah, Bibby, of course, for Pitstone Motorsport, an AM driver, pro-AM driver, and he's doing very well up in 6th place, just behind his teammate Michael Abdulka. Janssen trying to recover. He's still in 8th place though, and certainly watch out for Janssen, can still gain a few more places. So it's Baker leading, Challoner in 2nd place. He's just had a little bit of a poor lap there. Challoner dropped now 1.2 seconds off the race lead. Gafenki is in 3rd, and yeah, Fletcher having a very quiet time of it, but just quietly racking up the points, up in 4th place. That'll be his 2nd top 10 of the day. And then of course we've got Gafenki still closing in on Challoner. Challoner actually lost 0.8 of a second on that last lap, so clearly a mistake. And yeah, once you come under pressure, you're really more likely to make a mistake potentially.
Thank you, too far away to think of a move here. And you can see from the intervals that the track here, like Snetterton, everybody is all nose to tail. There isn't too many gaps that are bigger than a couple tenths of a second. You can see Dan Kraft is dropping down the order. Oh God, what's going on here? Fortunately, he's not off the circuit. He's just been passed by, it looks like 3 cars. Through has gone Chris Daines, Brandon Tabone, and Ben Hackerson as well. So Kraft down to P12 after all that. Marco Mogren has crashed again. Might as well have a look at it. Here it is. The Swede going for the inside. Cuts to the outside. Tries to go around the outside here. There's no grip out there. And he has to get on the anchors to stop it from going into a spin. He doesn't go off. He doesn't really hit anything there, but he gets going again. And the 82 Simortal car resumes in P23.
Wants to get in that reverse grid, wants to get into the top 20 at least, otherwise the chances are very minimal. And that's really what these drivers are racing for that good race the slot. Here comes Janssen. He's been the master of overtaking so far. I've seen at least 3 moves by him so far where he's just been mega deep on the brakes into one of these hairpins, and that's what he's going to try to do. Imagine he's going to try to get the cut back, but it's very difficult to go around the outside. So gets a terrific launch. Bibby straight away covers the inside. Janssen commits to the outside, couldn't really commit the dummy there. He was already alongside, and he's just getting the cut back into every single one of these corners. Problem is, the outside line and the inside line is so easy to defend. That's nothing that Janssen can really do. If anything, Bibby's just fending off his teammate very nicely. Here comes Janssen again though, and I think this is going to be pretty easy for him. Inside for this one, I'll have inside for the next left-hander as well. And Lewis Bibby's put up a stern defence, cannot hold the reigning champion back any further.
Oh, is he? Oh, thought he was going to look up the inside there, going into the right-hander. Shades of when Bottas tried to get back by Hamilton at Copse in the British Grand Prix the other week. Look at this. This is the Titanic duel. This is Marco Mogren. He's been right in the thick of the action today. Then it's Simon Underhill, Parsington, the World Championship driver, and Bryant, Gregory and Eagleston in the Year 1 Fury Sim Sport car. And it looks like the Nomad Sim Racing Black may have its work cut out onto the straight. I think he's already been passed by one, is he? 3 wide, nearly down the straights. The Year 1 car trying to, I don't know, try and get by. Oh, sorry, it was the TX3 car, wasn't it? It was Maxime Bryant trying to get by. Off goes the Nomad car. That is Simon Underhill off. And it looks like he will be passed by the Year 1 car. Oh, no, he hits him instead.
Dear.
And that is, into the back of him goes James Eagleston. Arthur LeHook is going to try and get by him now going into Murray's. Well, the Porsche is on the inside, but he's just going to go drive around the outside of him. Good move there, but what went on at the bomb hole there may be further investigations on that. And who's this in the Sim Sports Racing USA car? Andy Shield. He's arrived on the scene at a fair rate of knots. Surely he's not going to think about moving to the first corner. No, he doesn't. But a crazy couple of corners. Oh, he's run wide. Oh, and he nearly defends too late. Up the inside goes Eagleston, but Shield late on the brakes. Oh, and off wide goes the TX3 car of Arthur LeHook, the Frenchman, very nearly going onto the 200 layout of the circuit here, there, and is now causing a bottleneck behind as Shield and Eagleston collide again. It's been a a very tardy lap, I'd say, for Eagleston. That's not putting the blame on him or anything. We'll wait for the stewards to judge that. But that is the second car he's collided with, Sam.
I mean, that was the climax that we were waiting for. Gradually built that one up, and in the end, just a collision. That's the difficulty around this circuit. Of course, these are really big cars, narrow circuit, and when you're racing like that so hard, then that's always going to happen eventually. But hopefully those guys can recover, get a decent result, but that wall damage seems to be pretty bad. These top guys have all closed in on one another. Baker's been struggling for pace a little bit, but it's clear that he's just not as quick as the likes of Fletcher and Camilleri, who are consistently half a second to a second lap faster. The problem is they've got a couple of cars between them and the race leader, Challoner and Gafenki. And so the top 5 are now separated by about 3 seconds. Back to this one with Gregory in the Ferrari.
Update on the demise of Brian Lockwood, and that was just internet issues. We did see him disappear earlier on the YouTube chat. Racecraft Esports getting in touch, explaining why their man is no longer here. Hopefully he's back for race 3, get some more points on the board. Matt Bunn has crashed. Apparently, I could see him. He's still there, so might have been a bit late braking going into the hairpin. But the BMW there, the car in front, the CQR GT car, trying its best to hang on here. There he is. He's got one of the best in the business behind. One of the best teams in the business, I should say, TX3 by Thrustmaster. And it's very close here between Ben Gregory and his teammate. As LeHut goes up the inside, off goes Gregory. He's going to come back on just ahead of Chris Wood in the Team Mad car, but they don't come together there, fortunately, as we enter the final 5 minutes of this second race and check back in at the group at the front. I wonder if things might be about to kick into life here. Baker has kept Challoner at arm's length for the majority of this race, but now the Ferraris are starting to arrive on the scene. Gafenku, Fletcher, Camilleri, all reasonably close, and with 4.5 minutes to go, they are running out of laps to get it done. So I reckon if they're going to make a move, they're going to have to start doing it now.
Underwhelming lap there from Mark Fletcher. Has been consistently in the mid 42s all day, and all of a sudden a 42.9, and it's just halted his progress. You can see him 4th in this line. Just a little bit detached though, must have made a small mistake, and all of a sudden to catch up to the cars ahead, it's going to be pretty difficult for him. Would have thought as they have half a chance at the race win, but well, passing 3 cars around this circuit is going to be ever so difficult to do. I think Fletcher is the fastest guy out of these ones. But Baker, experienced driver, plenty of BSRTC experience as well, I believe. And a lot of World GT experience, of course. So, he's going to really be able to... He knows how to position his car. And at the moment, the gap hasn't really got to below about 0.4 of a second. Would Gafenki have a better chance? Well, I don't think we're going to find out, because Challoner, apart from that one mistake, has been absolutely solid for this entire race.
A development here for Ashley Blake Hood. Let's see what happens. Oh! Sideways, and is everybody going to scatter? Oh, that's one of the year 1 cars, I think, going into the back of him. And he's off. Oh no, Ashley. He's beached on a curb. And that is, I don't know if he can put it in reverse or what, but that is surely going to be the end of Ashley Blake Hood's race. No way he's going to get that going unless someone runs into the back of him and gets him off it. That's what those sausage curbs can do.
Well, the race leaders are now coming round, turn 1. Hopefully there won't be any incidents. There is Janssen.
Oh, he's gone now.
Don't know what happened to you. Oh, so Janssen's just got past Evdoka then, so Janssen's still charging about. And there we go, almost 3 wide between Fletcher and Gafenku. So Gafenku's made a mistake and fallen into the clutches of the drivers behind. So can he hold on to this one now? Got to get his car on the inside here. Fletcher couldn't quite get the exit that he wanted. You can see Gafenku can defend all the way to the left there, leaving no car's width whatsoever. Janssen is so quick, and he's in 4th in line here. So it looks as though it's going to be a duel for the win between Baker and Challoner. And Kafenko has been able to resist that initial attack, but this is going to be a very stressful couple of laps because he's got 5 quick drivers queuing up behind him.
Got a great view from the helicopter here of this infield section at the Snetterton circuit. You could almost do with a spider cam to get around there. And now back onto the Bentley straight. You can see just in the foreground, in the distance, in the background, that's Baker and Challoner just 0.3 of a second apart. But this is the fight for the final spot on the podium. And when we get to the line, we are going to have the white flag at the ready. We have got just over a minute to go here in the second race of the World GT Championship, round 5 of the season, if you include all the races that we've had so far, the ones at Brands and the race 1 that we had earlier. And Baker, who's put up a great defence up until now, can he keep him at bay for one more? He started second, inherited the lead midway round the first lap following Lewis Bibby's penalty for corner cutting. And he's not looked back since, but he may want to look in the mirrors now as Christian Challoner puts in a 1:42.79, 2 tenths of a second quicker than the BSRTC champion of 2014. And he's flashing the lights. Here's the Radicals Online Turn Racing car trying to get inside Dave Baker's head. Baker's had many Kia Optas behind him in the past. I wonder if a Porsche would be the thing to unsettle the CQR club's chances of victory here. Hard on the brakes into Agostini. No way through there. Mike Parsley, Marco Mogren's dropping down the order again. He's had a very entertaining second race, and it looks like it's going to continue as they go into Hamilton. Where do you reckon is going to be Baker's chance of getting the move done here? As for some reason the checker flag has just been displayed, even though we've still got half a lap to go.
I'm very confused by that as well. But I'm probably into Murray. He's surely at the end of this straight. He's not really close enough. He is closer than he was on the last lap. He's 1/10 closer than he was on the last lap. Maybe just that mistake from Challoner, which gave Baker a bit of breathing room, could be the difference. Because Baker's only got a couple more corners. He's got Baumhole, really no opportunity at an overtake from this point onwards in the lap unless he can get some miraculous run coming out of the final corner. Baker is closing in on his first win of the season. It'd be the 5th different winner, I believe, in 5 races this season. And Challoner is trying to put him off, but it's not going to happen. And Baker, I think, is going to win.
Great defensive drive there in the closing stages. He's led by example today in race 2, and Dave Baker's going to get it done in the World GT Championship at Snetterton. Christian Challoner finishes in second. Third for Richard Kafenko, he completes the podium. Lewis Bibby is going to be the top AM driver for the second race running by coming across the line in P8. And what about the rest of them? Marco Namella, 0.2 of a second between them, and the front of his car is a lot better than Richard Warmingham's. That is, as has to be said. The XVR Sim Racing car coming across the line in P14. What about the rest? Matt Bunn, very, very close to Mike Gray there over the line. He finishes in 22nd place. Jake Blackhall has got a problem. He's had a problem for most of the evening, and the 97 car has got severe damage to the rear of that Porsche 911. Let's see if he can get back to the pits. We're going to have to wait and see here, or if he can get to the finish line. He's in P38 now. Edward Rappridge is 30 seconds away, so I don't think he's going to deprive the Australian of this spot. There is Rappridge in the Year 1 Fury Simsport car. Over the line goes John Tusting. He was a lap down on everybody else, so that's why he's just come over the line. But now we've got to wait for Jake Blackhall. Here he is, using his front legs to drag the car over the line. He's going to come home in P38, and now we're just waiting for Edward Rappridge here. The Year 1 Fury Simsport car going to come home and take P39. Some useful points on the board for them. And that is just about it from race 2. We've still got one more race to go though. But before we do the reverse grid to set the grid for that, let's have a look at the finishing order, which is as follows. Dave Baker wins, Christian Challoner second, Richard Kafenko third, Mark Fletcher in fourth. Just a few tenths behind him in fifth is Keith Camilleri. And then sixth, Carl Janssen, Michael Evdoka, Lewis Bibby, there he is, top am. Then Ben Hackerson ninth. And 10th for Brit Tech Sim Sports, Chris Daines. Tell you what, we get another 14 for race 3. I wonder if Daines might be a shout of getting a win. That would complete a perfect evening for him, really. Starting at the back, going up through the field in race 1 and race 2, and then starting at the front in race 3. I've already written the script. We'll have to see if the reverse grid will commission it. Dan Kraft finishing in 11th, 12th for Brandon Tabone, then Pete Harrod, Richard Warmingham, then it's Marco Namella in 15th, Michael Blake, the second highest AM for the second race running, I think, in P16. Then Barry Baird in 17th, Thibaut Gazalban in 18th place in the end. Once he dropped down to 18th, he couldn't make any more positions back. 19th for Pete Newman, and in 20th for Maxime Briant. Mike Gray in 21st, Matt Bunn in 22nd. Then Jerome Kaiser in P23, Arthur LeHuc in 24th. Not the best race, really, for TX3, must be said. Then it's Christian Rose 25th, then 26th for Ben Gregory. Then Mike Partington in 27th with Chris Wood there in P28. James Eagleston had a very lively race, maybe too lively in the eyes of some. Then Ethan Bass in 30th, the Scotsman. Paul Gosling in 31st, Billy Fletcher in 32nd. Then Ben Palmer, Dennis Eipenberg, Mark Woodhouse in P35. And then in 36th it's Daniel McCauley, Simon Underhill, Jake Blackhall, Edward Rappager, Marco Mogren. John Tusting 1 lap down. And then the cars that didn't finish the race, Ashley Blake Hood beached on a curb. And then Andy Shield 5 laps down. Rob Cuss also out of the race, 10 laps down. Brian Lockwood, internet issues for him. And Josh Thompson didn't take the start because I believe he's in the wrong car. And once you join the first race in the wrong car, I think you're set with that for the rest of the evening. So I'll be surprised if we see Thompson back in the car for race 3, but we'll wait and see. But first, it's time to do the reverse grid for the final time tonight. It was 14 in race 1. Can we go a bit better and get a massive one just to throw the cat amongst the pigeons? Let's see if we can do that. Let's get the music ready. And without further ado, let's spin the wheel for the second and final time tonight. "24 is the biggest number. I'm not going to get it. It's going to be a bigger number though. It's going to be 20 cars reversed for the second race of the day. Sam, who's that going to be on the pole?
That means that will be Maxime Briant, who, if you remember, made a mistake quite early on in this race too, and it was a blessing in disguise. He's going to certainly be the favourite, and Pete Newman will be in second place, and Thibaut Gazalban, well, he's had a troublesome day so far, but he's going to be starting in third position, just a couple of places off the pole sitter and only a couple of places off his teammate as well. So it'll be very interesting to see that one. Beard will be in fourth place with Blake and Namella in 5th and 6th. So yeah, just a roundup. Bryant, Newman, Gazalban and Baird in the top 4 for race 3.
Great. Well, we'll speak to you in a bit then here on the iRacing Esports Network. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll be on the grid and getting set for the final race of the day here at Snetterton in the World GT Championship. Okay.
Growing up as a kid in Oklahoma, where I'm from, the Chili Bowl is the biggest race that we have. The Chili Bowl has kind of been my favorite race of the year. Growing up a dirt racer in Oklahoma, that's kind of the holy grail.
Coming for a splash. 3, 2, 1, now. All clear, punch it. Great job, you did really well.
The most realistic online racing sim ever made. This is iRacing. Detailed laser scan tracks, fully dynamic real world cars, and over 50 series to choose from. 6 online world championships offering over $100,000 in annual prizes. This is the original esport racing game. This is iRacing.
We're back on the iRacing Esports Network, and we're getting set for the final race of the day in the World GT Championship at Snetterton. Look at the grid for how we are going to look at how we are set for the final race of the day. It's Maxime Brilliant on the pole with Pete Newman starting alongside him on the front row. Then it's Thibaut Gazalbin and it's Barry Baird. Michael Blake starting up in 5th. Chance for him to get some points back on Lewis Bibby in the Pro-Am Championship as well. Marco Namella after that, then Richard Warmingham, Pete Harrod, Branson Tabone, Dan Kraft, Chris Daines, Ben Hackerson. And then the reverse grid numbers are completed here by Lewis Bibby, Michael Avdoka, Carl Janssen, Mark Fletcher, Richard Gafenku, Christian Challoner and Dave Baker in 20th. And as the rest of the grid scrolls through, Sam Fitzpatrick, we're getting set for another exciting race here with a slightly bigger reverse grid and some drivers that need to get a win on the board towards the front.
Yes, Maxime Bryant and Thibaut Gazalbin undoubtedly the favourites going into this race. Will they be able to back that up? Because they are teammates, TX3 by Thrustmaster. But they have both made a couple of mistakes so far today. They cannot afford anything like that going into this final race, where they can maybe recover some points for their private championships. Of course, both championship rivals in the individual class, and of course championship rivals in the teams championship as well. But watch out for Pete Newman. Haven't seen too much of him. Quietly gone about his business. Got a 19th place though in that second race, and deservedly gets a front race start. So could he cause a bit of a surprise here?
This championship is built on surprises. Let's see what's going to happen here. Maxime Brilliant, Pete Newman. They're not going yet. They're going now. Brilliant leaves Newman for almost dead, really, and it's going to mean that Thibaut Gazalbin's going to get second place pretty much for free here. Let's see if Newman can stop him going into the first corner. Looks like that he won't be able to, and it's almost going to be a TX3. It is a TX3 1-2. Watch out for Michael Blake in this immortal car. He's looking up the inside of Newman as well. They just about give each other enough space. Watch out for the Nomad Sim Racing White of Barry Baird in there too. Looks like everybody has made it through the Wilson hairpin without incident. Just looking at the back of that shot. But Newman and Blake very close. Blake goes off the circuit. Fortunately, he doesn't spin back in front of everybody, but it does mean he drops down to 8th place as a result. Down, and even might get demoted as far as 9th. Oh no, Marco Namella's been spun. He's off the Racecraft Esports car, desperate to make sure that nobody hits him. It's not been the best evening for them really, with Brian Lockwood disconnecting in race 2 due to internet issues, and in fact Lockwood's just in front of him. There he is. He's trying to work his way through the field, and the two very nearly come together.
Yep, struggling out there today, but look at the lead that these two have. Maxime Bryant and his teammate Thibaut Gazalbin, TX3 by Thrustmaster, absolutely dominating at this part of the race, and they've just got to try to close this one out. Baird has got ahead of Newman, and that's a big move there for Barry Baird, because he might be able to start pulling away perhaps as Newman holds up the other drives. Then it's Harrod, Warmingham, Tabone, Blake, Evdoka and Kraft rounding out the top 10. Good start for Evdoka, actually up from 14th place on the grid. Harrod as well up 3 places up into 5th, as we've got side by side for the lead. Bryant versus Gazalbin. I think Bryant maybe made a mistake there, and Gazalbin is all over the back of him. But please don't take each other out, guys, because you've not had the best day in the world, and you desperately need some points on the board, and they absolutely need to lock out an easy 1-2 if they possibly can. They've got a 2-second lead after lap 1.
Yeah, they're pulling away with this. It's shades of the Mercedes in the, you could probably say present day at the moment. I was going to say at the beginning of the turbo hybrid era, when Rosberg and Hamilton were just on it all the time. End of the opening lap then, yeah, it's Brian and Gazalbin, then it's Baird, Newman, Harrod, Warmingham, Tabone, Evdoka, Blake. And we get the battles up. You can see whereabouts they all are on the circuit. Dave Baker battling away with Chris Daines, or should I say Baker getting by Daines, because Daines has gone off the circuit. And he's been passed by Matt Bunn too. And he might get hit by Gafenku. He very nearly did. And he just about survives. Is Gafenku going to look at the inside into Hamilton? Take a brave person to do that, and he decides against it. But now that opens him up to attack from Mike Gray, who is there in the XVR Sim Racing car. So watch out for them. And just like in race 2 and in race 1, it is pretty much nose to tail throughout the entire field. We get the intervals up on the timing tower. You can see that for yourself. What's happened?
Radicals online. Billy Fletcher spinning round. And he's had a good day, I think, as Fletcher.
Oh, hello.
But he's falling way down. Oh, we got a car in its roof, and it's not a Porsche. Those things go on their roofs very easy. It was a BMW. And so yeah, Fletcher and Cuss dropping down. Also Kaiser as well.
Yeah, also Small Time dropping down the order. Here it is. Well, there's the contact. And that was 2 divisions of the Radicals Online team coming together, and he gets pushed over in the end. Shades of Casey Mears at that NASCAR race at Fontana all those years ago. Kaiser has crashed, so let's have a look at what happened to him as well while we're on replay. Jake Blackwell's also had some sort of incident somewhere. Here is what happened to the Immortal Small Time car. Going through the left-hander, everything fine over the curb, and very nearly rolls it. So a year one car gets absolutely flown into in the background too. I don't know who that was. That may have been Dennis Eipenberg or something. He gets going again though.
Yeah, so Eipenberg falling down as well, and there's Lockwood spinning at turn 2. And it was a pretty good start to the day for Lockwood, but it hasn't quite lived up to that in races 2 and 3.
Start of the day as the championship leader. Not too sure if it's going to be the case after that. We'll have to wait and see when we go to the next race meeting, which is next week. Just going to see where it actually is as we go on to the front straight again. 1.4 seconds you can see between Brilliant and Gazalban, so good job by Maxim Brilliant in the opening stages to pull that advantage out. Mean that Thibaut Gazalban right now is in a bit of a world of his own. He's got a 1 second cushion back to Barry Baird in third, and a 1.3 second gap to Brian in first. So he's going to have to try and close the gaps to one of them. But look at this scrap for 8 between Blake, Janssen, Kraft, Camilleri, Bibby and Fletcher.
Yeah, it's a nice battle. Not more than half a second separating any one of these drivers. They are in a fantastic queue, and if you want to take a screenshot of this series, well, that would sum it up. Some fantastic liveries as well in the mix as Janssen. He's probably made more overtakes, I think, than any other front runner, and he's going to try to make one more here down the inside of Michael Blake. Might be best for Blake to give this one up, but you know what? He's not going to give it up anytime soon because he's taken a very good line there. Side by side, 2 by 2, they go. And in the end, Blake loses out there, and that was Camilleri getting past Kraft just in the background. Bibby, who of course won the Pro-Am races 1 and 2. Championship leader as well. He will almost certainly be the championship leader after this race as well, but he's just dropping down a little bit. And he's going to lose another position going into that hairpin. I think he just about managed to hang on as we go a little bit further up. Harrod versus Tabone. And you've got Evdoka, Warming, Janssen is undoubtedly going to catch up to these guys very soon. Evdoka now 8 places. Could be a very good day for Evdoka actually. 2 top 10 so far, and it looks like he's going to get his 3rd as long as he can keep it nice and clean.
Josh Thompson did turn up for this final race. He is in it, and he's gained 21 places already. He's up to 23rd from pretty much stone dead last, which is pretty commendable. In fact, he's just gone one better. Here he is. He's just entering our shot now. He's up into 22nd. It looks like he's got the right car this time. He was in the BMW for race 1. He's actually in the Ferrari, and looks like he's in tune with it and is trying to get by Christian Rose next. So this is going to be really interesting as a whole lot of grass and turf get kicked up in front of the Thrustmaster Movano racing car.
Nice comeback from Thompson. He's had so many of these raceways, had to make his way through the field, and I think he kind of looks at it as a bit of fun, but no doubt not the start of the season that he wanted. He could have just quit after race 1, to be honest. Had a 100% winning record this season. I don't think anyone else is going to have that record, but he's stuck by it, and it's just being very patient. I mean, he knows that this race will come to him as inevitable incidents occur in front of him. Separated out in front, by the way. Yeah, so not really anything going up right at the front of the field. Really highest up that says Tabone versus Evdoka, but this is really where the action's at in these trains. You think you just getting past Gray. I think you could probably see the lock up there. I think that was from all of that going on. And yeah, I think Gafenki overtook Gray, I think, just now. So good move there.
See them all running out wide, taking a little bit of grass and whatnot. They won't be able to do that next week. There'll be concrete barriers and sharp curbs their way because it is Belle Isle in Detroit.
Ooh.
And one driver that's not thinking about that is Carl Janssen, because he's just got by Rich Warmingham up into P7. So Janssen is on the move. He may get to Barry Baird in third, but I think after that he's not going to be able to trouble the TX3 by Fussmaster cars, even with over half the race still to go. That is the level of the pace that's being set at the front, and it's been something that we've been waiting to see all season so far, Sam. It looks like we're finally seeing it now. They've got a 2 second buffer to Baird, and then after that 5 seconds on the rest of them.
Yep, top three absolutely checks out, and Janssen, could he get a fourth place here? It's looking perhaps possible. He's got 3 cars fighting up ahead of him. Evdoka still trying to get past Tabone, but Howard Tabone and Evdoka, despite being of a different pace, I think, just hasn't been any change so far, and Janssen will happily close in on these guys. Got Gafenku and Gray once again very close, and Gray is dropping down the order, and Christian Roses as well. They've had an issue, I think, down in the second corner, and there they are. Gray was under pressure, and I don't know how he's managed to get involved in that one, but a miserable day for Christian Rose. Oh, as we got another car, Eipenberg.
That grass is pretty thick stuff. You can see the tyre marks that he's left there, trying to get going from one of the worst stop signs on the circuit. Oh, and nearly getting clattered into by the Simultal car of Jeroen Kaiser, who's trying to regain some spots. Josh Thompson has made it into our top 20 timing tower. He's only 0.2 of a second away from Mike Parsington, who's just got by Richard Gafenku, and they're nearly 3 wide down the Bentley straight here. Thompson's got by Gafenku 2. Is he going to get by a World Championship driver Mike Parsington? Not into Nelson, he isn't. And a lock up there by Gafenku 2, very nearly clattering into the side of the Ferrari. But right now, Thompson, where could he set his sights? He could probably set them on maybe Dan Craft's 10th place. We've still got half the race to go, and everybody after Parsington is pretty much nose to tail, as you can see just in front. Chris Daines and Matt Bunn are very close too as they come across the straight.
Yep, the battle for 15th place. Daines dropped a little bit further back as this race has gone on, but he's defending well at the moment. Bunn looking to the inside. Haven't seen too much of Matt Bunn as it's got 3 wide just in the background. So that was Palmer and Gafenku, and it's all very close amongst those drivers. A little bit of side by side just in the background there. And Josh Thompson's now up into 18th place, so he just gained a couple of positions just by getting past a couple of those guys. He's now ahead of Parsington and Palmer. Those are the drivers who are side by side. Evdoka has got past Tabone as well. So that took a while for him. It's taken him about 5 laps to finally get past Tabone, and now he can set his sights on Pete Howard 1.3 seconds up the road.
Looks like it's going to be maybe on the exit of the hairpin here. Let's see how Evdoka gets it done. Yeah, very well done indeed by the TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport car, using just about the amount of grip that he has on the outside of that hairpin, and back up the inside he goes, and he's able to get it done. What about Janssen though? Where's he in all this? He can we'll carry on this replay to see what happens here, because he still is behind Brandon Tabone. And after that, he stays pretty much where he is. He did fancy his chances of getting by there. But as we go back onto the front straight to start lap 7, or start lap 8 I should say, it is Carl Janssen. It looks like he's trying to get by Brandon Tabone. Let's see if he can get it done into the first corner. The KC Racing Esports car trying its best to stay inside the top 6, but Janssen, the reigning champion, did think of the dummy, going to go to the outside. He saw what Evdoka saw on the previous lap, and he's going to try and replicate it. He very nearly does, albeit for a bit of wheel spin on the exit, and it means that for now car 222 remains in 3 times 2, which is 6.
Excellent maths there. Cannot fault that. Janssen, yeah, it's just a matter of time. I'm not quite sure. It is difficult to overtake down this place, and nice defence so far from Tabone. But he really wants to get this move done, because then he might be able to get Evdoka, then he might be able to get Howard. Would still be a good day for Carl Janssen after an underwhelming Brands Hatch round. would still be some good points on the board as it's getting quite late now. It's 7:21 in the evening, and you can see the it's certainly the light levels decreasing for these Razor's headlights, gradually becoming more and more prominent. Bryant's still holding off Kazorban. So Kazorban, by the way, earlier on in the race, I think it was lap 3, just a really bad lap. He was about 1.5 seconds slower than Bryant. Randomly fell nearly 2 seconds behind, and since then he's just been gradually closing in by about 1/4 of a second per lap. And now, with a few laps to go, he's got himself half a chance, but they cannot afford to take one another out. Yeah, that would be the bad thing to do. Even I can say that.
Yes. Laying down a gauntlet to the rest of the fields here. They are doing a fantastic job. Here is a good battle for 12th and 13th. This is Michael Blake versus Mark Fletcher. Very close in the background as well as one of the Texans Fitstar Motorsports cars is off towards the field. That's Lewis Bibby. He manages to avert that destination and just about wrestle control of the car back, but now he's only 22nd compared to where he was a moment ago. Edward Rappager versus Christian Rose going into the hairpin. Rose on the comeback trail after getting stuck with an XVR car earlier. And Josh Thompson getting past Matt Bunn into the Agostini hairpin. That's Tomo up into 16th place, 28 positions gained. Next up on the list is Chris Daines in the Brits Sim Sports car, who's having a bit of trouble trying to get by Dave Baker, who is in turn having trouble trying to get by Michael Blake. Mark Fletcher's got by though, and the Radicals Online Motaf car is up into P12 with just over 5 minutes to go.
Another good day for Fletcher. Racking up more points, he might be in the lead of the championship after today. I really have no idea, to be honest, but there's been so many different wins, and it looks like we're going to have our 6th different winner of the season in the form of Maxime Bryant. Blake, yeah, holding on to this place well. Yeah, you've got Baker then just behind, then Daines and Thompson. Thompson could get 4 more places yet, but he's got to get a move on with it. And here he goes. Good cutback on Chris Daines. Has to go to the outside. Good straight line speed in that Ferrari it should be. Defending right to the inside of the corner is Daines. And Thompson's going to have to brave this one out, but he can carry a lot of speed around the outside. That outside line turn 1 hasn't really worked, almost contact, and then somehow, oh dear, Thompson's into the wall. And can he keep it going? I don't think there should be too much damage on that car. And after all of that, now Bunn's making contact. He's got half a chance at making the move finally on his rival. But, oh dear, well that was a bit chaotic.
I'd agree with you if he hadn't hit an Armco barrier. I think the car is pretty damaged. If it was a tyre barrier,
quite nose on. He might get away with it.
Well, tell you what, we'll go back and see if you're right in a second. Let's have a look at this battle between Partington and Daines, though. BMW, 3 BMWs scrapping away here. Daines up the inside. Oh, I thought he was going to fly into the back of that CQR GT car for a brief moment there. Bunn trying his best to hold on as they go onto the Bentley straight. Josh Thompson has got going again, but the answer is how much damage is on that CQR car. And tell you what, Sam, there you go. That's why I'm up here and you're team boss. The car is pointing straight and true as he goes down the Bentley straight, and he's in 22nd. And tell you what, with the amount of damage he's got, which is pretty minimal, he could still fancy his chances of getting a top 20 finish at this rate.
I mean, even if it only had one wheel, I'd still be telling my drivers to get out there and win the race. Doesn't matter whether or not they're on a unicycle. But no, he's still carrying on, and a bit of damage, not going to help him too much, but still will score some decent points for Thompson. About to pull the lead, calming down a little bit, so half a second between Bryant and Kazorban. Baird comfortable in 3rd, Howard in 4th. So there's not too much reason to go to the front, really. We will we'll stick with this one, I think. Side by side, Partington. And also just behind. Sorry, that was Gopinki holding off Palmer as well.
So it's been a pretty entertaining night for most of the teams in this championship. We started off race 1 with CQR being right in the thick of the action. Race 2 we had problems with TX3. And here in race 3 we've got the likes of Thrustmaster, Brit Tech all really giving it a go here. And he got to at Snetterton. You really got to get elbows out to try and get any sort of move done, because as you can see here on the 300 section of the circuit, it's not the widest track in the world, and the BMW is a pretty wide car. As we get set to start the final lap in a moment, for Maxime Brilliant and Thibaut Gazalban are just going through the long right-hander going towards Murray. You can see that from the track map on the far right-hand side of your picture. And the fight for fourth continues. It's not all nose to tail. Harrod has got just about half a second in check over Michael Evdoka. It has stretched out a little bit over the last lap or so. And if anything, the closest battle as we start the final lap of the race is going to be between Carl Janssen and Brandon Tabone for 6th place. And Tabone has managed to keep himself in that 6th place for the majority of this race since falling behind. But Carl Janssen is raring to go, and let's see if we can get it done into the hairpin. He's managed to force a blocking move out of the KC Racing Esports car.
Yeah, Tabone was done around the outside at that Montreal corner earlier on, but he hasn't fallen victim to that ever since.
2 wheels in the dirt there, very nearly sent him off into that runoff area. But we carry on. Janssen in the CQR P&M with Lizard. And I've only had one-sided today, and that's difficult to pronounce. Going towards Hamilton with the left-hander. Now towards Oggies, one of the trickiest corners on the circuit, really, just because of the way it widens on the exit. Oh dear, something's happened. And it's Mike Partington that's off. This gives Josh Thompson a place, and he's going to look up the inside. Oh, through on Lewis Bibby. I did say that Thompson may crack the top 20 before the end, and he has done so. But meanwhile, Sam, here come TX3 by Thrustmaster for what looks set to be a 1-2.
Yep, easy victory seemingly for Maxime Grant. Starts on pole position. Gazalban starts in third, got the 2nd place from the very start, and here comes TX3 by Dustmaster. They are going to take a 1-2 finish here at race 3 at Snetterton, and that is just the finish to a pretty disappointing day that they wanted. Baird will finish in 3rd place. Howard will hang on for a fantastic 4th, and Tabone hung on against Janssen as well. So nice defence there from Brandon Tabone. Is Thompson going to get any more places? Doesn't look like it. He might even be dangerous from behind, with Bibby closing in on him to the line, but Thompson, despite that air damage, finishing in 20th place. And well, race 1 will certainly be, meeting 1 where he didn't turn up will certainly be a drop round. He may want this one to be a drop round as well after that non-finish, but still recovering some decent points after that race win earlier on as well.
Michael Blake takes the Pro-Am honours. Bibby finishes in 4th in that fight in the end. Bunn in 3rd and Underhill in 2nd. So that's how the category finished. There is Bibby. Has everybody finished? Now I think we've still got a few coming along. Eagleston over the line there. Here comes Chris Wood for Team Mad. He's going to come across the line in P36. There he goes. And that means we've just got one car left, and here he comes. It's Ben Gregory in the TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport car. Down 11 places. He's going to finish in 37th place. And there he goes. And he is the last car across the line to complete the finishing order from the final race here at Snetterton. A reminder that next week we do go to Belle Isle, Detroit, over stateside. That's going to be interesting. Watch out for that one. I'll be on at 8:15 BST on the iRacing Esports Network. But for now, let's run you through the finishing order from the final race, and let's get some interviews in before we crash off air. Maxime Brilliant wins, then Thibaut Gazalban in 2nd, Barry Baird in 3rd, and look at that, after that, nearly 10 seconds back to Pete Howard in 4th, then 5th for Michael Evdoka, then Brandon Tabone, Carl Janssen, Keith Camilleri, then Rich Warmingham and Dan Crafts rounding out the top 10. I think that might be Crafts' best result of the season so far. Christian Challoner in 11th, 12th for Mark Fletcher, then Michael Blake, the top AM driver in P13, then Dave Baker, Chris Daines, Ben Palmer, then Richard Gafenku, Simon Underhill, the 2nd highest AM in P18, then Matt Bunn in 19th, for Josh Thompson miraculously gets 20th. I thought his car was done for after it hit that Armco barrier on the exit of Riches. I think that's the first corner. Might get that confused with another circuit. Lewis Bibby, 21st. Mike Partington in 22nd. Then Christian Rose in P23. Then car 007, Andy Shield in 24th. Good comeback, really, because I think he was off at the start of race 3. Edward Rappager in 25th. Then 26th for Brian Lockwood. Not the best evening for Racecraft Esports. I think they've pretty much admitted that on the YouTube chat. But I'm sure they'll be back next time out at Detroit. Home race for them, in fact. Well, home race for Brian Lockwood, anyway. Team Mads Mark Woodhouse in P27, then Daniel McCauley. Paul Gosling finishes in P29, and 30th for Jerome Kaiser. Ethan Bass, 31st. John Tusting in 32nd. 31st, for Marco Namella. Then James Eagleston, Mike Gray. Chris Wood, over a minute behind in 36th. And then 37th for Ben Gregory, and then the cars that didn't finish the race. The Year 1 Fury Simsport car of Dennis Eipenberg was off the track quite a bit in that third race. Pete Newman, 10 laps down. Billy Fletcher, 11. Rob Cuss, 11 laps down. Jake Blackhall, well, did he even register a point today? Unfortunate for him. Then Arthur Lehuck, the only TX3 driver that didn't have the best of things in that final race. Ben Hackerson, finishing 12 laps down in 44th. And that is indeed it in terms of finishers. And now it's the time of the show where we go to the interview room and see who we've got waiting to talk to us. And they're populating the room already. We've got Michael Evdoka, who Sam will probably know pretty well. We've got Marco Namella too, and we've got Michael Blake, who won the Pro-Am category in race 3. So I know Sam knows Michael well. Evdoka. So we'll start off with Michael Blake, who is technically one of our winners today because he won the Pro-Am category in race 3, and he pushed Lewis Bibby all the way too in race 1 and race 2. So he joins us now in the interview room. Michael Blake, welcome, and well done on the Pro-Am victory in that third and final race. How was it like? What was it like out there at Snetterton today? It looked pretty congested, to say the word.
Yeah, guys, that was pretty intense. I am absolutely exhausted. I am literally dripping.
Yeah, I don't think the #Heatwave UK hasn't helped, but I don't think you finished outside at least the top 3 in the Pro-Am fight all night tonight. You were keeping Bibby honest in race 1 and race 2, and you were able to get that win in race 3 too.
Yeah, that was surprised me because I was the 4th slowest car. Sorry, 4th from slowest in qualifying. I'm really struggling with this car for pace in the middle of the corner, but I keep tweaking on it, and I think I'm getting somewhere. But just want to thank everyone that I did battle with in race 2 and race 3 for keeping it clean, keeping it fair. That was intense.
And for the team as a whole, you got Jerome Kaiser on board, and just looking through the rest of the entry list. Is that it? Is it just the 2 of you?
Ashley Blake could.
Oh yeah, Ashley Blake could. Oh well, he got beached on a curb, didn't he, in race 2, I think. But you happy with the team's progress so far? I'm guessing you'll be trying to compete for the Pro-Am teams title this season.
We're going to try, but there are some seriously strong teams around us. If we can get top 3, that's sort of the goal. If we can get top 3, we'll be over the moon with that. With the level of competition, it's absolutely crazy.
A bit of a nudge towards Ben Hackerson, towards Sam Fitzpatrick there. I think with TechSense Fitz Time Motorsport also competing for the Pro-Am teams title as well. It's going to be a good scrap between you guys, I reckon, during the season. But next week, if your task was hard enough, it might just have got a bit harder because we're off to Belle Isle in Detroit. Is that a track where you might get to know the BMW a bit more, or is it just going to be a case of trying to survive those 3 races?
Well, I've been struggling with the mid-corner speed and getting over the curbs. It feels like the suspension's collapsed every time you touch one. So the curbs aren't too bad at Belle Isle, so it might be all right. And I normally do better than I do in the sprint races during the Enduros, so hopefully we'll have some more good points.
Great. Well, before we let you go, do you want to send a quick shout-out to anyone?
Immortal, obviously, you guys for the broadcast, all the admins for all the work they do in this series. It's incredible. And big thanks to Dave Crozier and Team Mad for taking me on board this year, and Smile Time Productions, who are sponsoring the team. That's Paul Smith's stream on Twitch.
Great. Well done today, especially on the win at the end of race 3, and all the best next week at Detroit.
Thanks, guys.
God, I nearly dragged myself out of the room. Next up, we have got. We'll go from one pro-am contender to the other. We'll go to we'll go to a man who's competing for the pro-am team's title anyway. Michael Evdoka for TechSense Fitstyle Motorsport. And tell you what, Sam, you can have the floor with this one. Here he is. He's waiting to talk to you now.
Yes, congratulations, Michael. Really successful day today. 3 top 8s. I always say if you get 3 top 10s, that's a perfect day in the office. 3 top 8s, you must be delighted with that.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Probably one of my best meetings in World GT. Also, all 3 races were 0x, so bonuses in all 3 races, which is a bonus. I absolutely loved it. Some absolutely fantastic racing out there. Just being patient behind people mainly, because it's so tight and twisty here. It's so hard to get an overtake. And I think in the second race, Carl Janssen overtook me from my own mistake. And I just sort of thought, release the beast, because he's so fast, Janssen. And in that third race, just taking it easy and trying to keep those 0x's,
Yeah, absolutely. Drove it superbly. I was saying at the start of the day how maybe the Ferrari might struggle around here. It's usually a car which goes well around places like Monza and Daytona where the long straights are around, but this place much more tight and twisty. How did you find the Ferrari was in terms of its competitiveness?
Yeah, it was very difficult. You just had to control the rear end because it wanted to sort of snap off, but as long as you were just easing it round, it had a little bit of drop off compared to the other cars, but it wasn't too bad, to be honest.
And in terms of the points in the championship, you were 15th going into today. No doubt you'll be in the top at least 10. I imagine probably a little bit further up than that. Is that your aim for the season, getting as high up in the Drivers' Championship, or is it more on the Teams' Championship?
Yeah, it's a bit of both. I mean, I want to be in the top 10. That's realistically where I want to be. It's going to be so difficult with the strength of field that we've got. With all the pros and all the drivers that we have got, it's just crazy how difficult it is. I mean, in the first race, I came P7 and I was just ecstatic to come P7. It's just crazy out there. But yeah, top 10 in the drivers, and hopefully we can do really well in the team standing as well.
Absolutely. Well, best of luck with that. I certainly have no special interest either, so that's all good. Is there anyone you'd like to thank, Michael?
Just the team, Fitstyle Motorsports. They've been absolutely fantastic. All the sponsors we have, TechSense, they've been awesome as well, funding everything that we need and helping us out. And you guys do a fantastic job on this broadcast. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael, and we'll see you soon.
Cheers.
Right, cheers to Michael. Right, we're going to race through these interviews, and we'll move on to Josh Thompson. I think he's had a pretty entertaining evening. Started it in a BMW, then couldn't do race 2 because he was in a BMW, and then came back because he was in a Ferrari and was able to get a top 20, and probably could have been a lot better than that, right, Josh?
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about race 3. Obviously, I got a mega start, plus 24, and then the same people who always cause incidents at strikes again. But yeah, I can't really complain to say I kind of put myself down there. Obviously, silly mistake with choosing the wrong car because I wasn't really paying attention. But yeah, one of those things really.
So yeah, you arrived for race 1 and you're in the BMW. Have you even got a setup for it when you line up on the grid?
Nope.
So you literally...
I was talking to Partington and Palmer at the time. And obviously, normally it comes on the drop down. Obviously, I had to drop down on the Ferrari, but I'd refreshed my page like 2 seconds prior to obviously get the session to load. And it switched then, it automatically puts it back to default, which is the BMW. So I wasn't paying attention because I was looking up. I clicked join. I looked last second. It was in the BMW. By then, I've already signed up. So I had to just go. Yeah, I can't race this one. So
how did you get it switched to the Ferrari for race 3 then?
I just couldn't take part in race. Obviously, just couldn't take part in race 2. And then Matt had to manually add me to the grid again. That's why I started the back. But obviously, then I made sure I chose the Ferrari, which is the correct car.
I was pretty surprised, to be fair, when you hit that barrier midway through race 3. I thought for certain that the car would be pretty heavily damaged, but all 4 wheels are pointing straight in. You're still able to get a top 20 by the end.
Yeah, just about. Shame, really, because I'd say 44th to what could have been probably a top 10 at this track, which is probably... I'd class it as a Mickey Mouse track because obviously you can't really do much here. It's a lot of single file, waiting for a lot of mistakes. If I managed to get a top 10, that would almost be like a win. And yeah, it's just a shame, really, because obviously there's so many incidents what happened tonight. Race 2, I probably could have a chance at winning that one with how everything turned out. It's just a bit of a missed opportunity, really, tonight. But on to the next one.
Yeah, what are your plans for the season? Are you going to be here for the majority of the races on the calendar?
Yeah, I'm going to be here for all of them. Obviously, I missed last week because I didn't get back home in time.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't. And I got back home for race 3, and it just wasn't point. There was no point in me turning up for one race if I've not really done any practice for it, knowing I was away.
Yeah.
So this year is now I've got to make sure I turn up to all the races because I've used both for drop weeks in the first 2 rounds, which is not ideal at all. And obviously we go to Germany, don't we, in like 3-4 weeks?
Oh.
So I'm hoping it's on the break week.
Well, hopefully they factor that into the occasion, because
I hope so.
I'll be there as well, probably.
Yeah, it'll be season 4 all over again with Foggy. I'm missing out on the championship because I missed 1 extra round because I was in Germany.
Oh. Well, I don't know who you can blame for that. Probably the Sim Racing Expo. But before we let you go, Josh, do you want to send a quick shout out to anyone?
Yeah, you guys are the broadcast, and I'll be watching it back. It's probably fantastic as always. All the admins, again, the game this season, we're up and running again. It's been a while. Nice to be back in it. Mike Partington, everyone at Movano, for obviously taking part in the series. And a big shout out to Craig Setup Shop and everyone there for helping me this week with the setup, which I used for the race.
Great. Well, you never disappoint, I must say, when you come in here for a quick chat. And I'm sure it will be the same next week because we're at Belle Isle in Detroit. So I'm sure you'll be getting stuck into that one. So
hope so.
Yeah.
Hope so.
We'll speak to you in a bit, Josh. See you in a bit.
See you in a bit.
Right. Next, how are we doing? It is 10:30. So let's get on to the final 3. We've got Brian Lockwood, we've got Carl Janssen and Marco Namella. Varying nights for these 3. Me and Sam will try and split this between us and get an answer out of all 3 of them before we go. The final 3 interviews then, Brian Lockwood, Carl Janssen and Marco Namella. Pretty contrasting nights for all 3 of you. Brian, we'll start with you. Championship leader coming into here. Then you had the internet issues in race 2 probably didn't help, but race 1 and race 3 were pretty chaotic, weren't they?
Yeah, well, race 1 is actually pretty good for me. I made out with 0 incidents and a 3rd place, which I was really happy with after being pretty knackered from the Spot 24. But yeah, I thought I was in a great place going into race 2, and then bam, internet issues. So 0 points there. Race 3, I tried to salvage my weekend, but and actually got a huge start. I think I gained like 8 places or something before the first turn, but got caught up in that big wreck. Just had nowhere to go. So it's a drop week. I'll be back next week.
Yeah, Belle Isle a bit closer to home for you. A track you probably know better than Snetterton, or would you say you probably know them the same?
I've raced Belle Isle, I think, a couple more times than Snetterton, and I wouldn't say I'm all that good at it, but I really, really enjoy that track. So I'm really looking forward to next week.
I'm moving on to Carl Janssen, if I may. And Carl, well done on today, and you really spent the latter part of race 3 really trying to get by your competitor. You just weren't able to get it done in the end, but it was a close fight nonetheless, with Brandon in front of you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the Ferraris, they were really strong here today, especially in the cold races, so in race 1 and 3. They had I think they had the pace advantage over us BMWs. Maybe not pure lap pace, but they had the race pace advantage because they were quick in all places where you need to be quick. So you couldn't really get close to them. As soon as we came into a fast corner, they just were so much quicker than us BMWs, and there was a huge amount of aero push it built up behind it.
Obviously, you're defending your title this season. How have you found the first 2 race meetings at Brands and here today?
Well, Brands was a bit of a mess, really. I couldn't find any real consistency, and I got a lot of incidents and stuff. But here it's been really good. I think I'm second point scorer out of here, and second in the championship now as well. So, yeah, it's been a great race here.
And finally, we get a word out of Marco Namella. Marco, welcome. I think it's the first time you've joined us for an interview this season, but how have you found the first 2 race meetings so far in the World GT Championship?
Yeah, the branch was tough. I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, this one was better. First race, 20 positions, and second race, I gained 11. And the third race, my VR went in pirate mode. My right eye didn't light up. I was driving with my left eye the whole race. I couldn't see when I went off on the turn 5 or 6. What is this? The second hairpin. I couldn't see the brake marker.
God.
And then I just tried to dodge everyone in front of me that I didn't hit them.
Yeah, I think racing on a single monitor is tough. I think it's probably the equivalent of half a monitor, not even being able to see where you're going. But it sounds like it looks like this has been the bad week for Racecraft anyway. Obviously, internet issues for Brian and the VR issues for yourself. Next week at Belle Isle, hopefully everything's back to normal again.
Yeah, I hope so. Need to fix some. Also get some practice in. That was a spa week, so I was trying to help, and also had a shoulder issue, so I was resting my arm. So yeah, maybe next week I will come and beat the top guys.
Well done today. Before we let you guys go, then Brian, I'll let you do the shout out for Racecraft Esports. Take it away.
Yeah, well, just shout out to everybody of the team. We had a few people working super hard to finish the Spot 24. We ended up finishing 25th in the top split. A couple of wrecks, but hey, we're pretty happy with it. So thank you to all of them. Thank you to everybody at Racecraft Esports, making it possible to do what we do. And of course, thank you to Marco for doing the work on the setup and having a car that could have come out of today with an extended championship lead, but it wasn't to be.
Great. And Carl, shout out for you.
Yeah, the whole Core Sim Racing team, and then also you guys for streaming.
Great. Well done to you, Trio, and thanks for taking the time to come and speak to us. And yeah, we'll hopefully see you again at Belle Isle next week.
Yeah, thanks.
Thanks, Adam. That's it.
There you go. Well, Sam, that's it. And once again, we leave Norfolk with quite a few talking points, and we head across the Atlantic to the other side of the pond, to Detroit. A bit like Norfolk in any way? Probably not, for the next race meeting of the championship.
I mean, one's, quite a legendary place in the world in terms of the automotive history, and one's in America as well. So, one's got ups and downs. But no, personally, I love Belle Isle. It's such a unique circuit. It's so fantastic on iRacing that we've got a proper street circuit like Belle Isle. And it's so difficult to overtake. That's now 3 races in a row that it's found super tough to overtake tracks. And personally, those are the ones I like. So should have 3 different winners, as we have come to expect in this series. I think we've had 6 different winners so far this season. So, well, could we have 9 coming out of the first 3 meetings?
I'm looking forward to it, it must be said. Belle Isle always often turns up in terms of exciting racing. I do say, though, that the Top Gear trio, they went to Kings Lynn, that's in Norfolk, to buy those classic cars they took on that rally.
Well, Kings Lynn is anonymous with the motorsport world. Martin Brundle and George Russell came from Kings Lynn. So, legendary place.
And that's a perfect way for us to end for the Norfolk Tourist Board. Anyway, thanks to Sam for coming into the The commentary box once again for this one, as always. It is pretty hot here, I must say, even though it's coming up to 11:15 in the evening, and it's set to get even hotter to go full weatherman mode here on the iRacing Esports Network in the UK. We will see you at 8:15 British Summer Time next week when the World GT Championship heads stateside in Belle Isle. So until then, from me and from Sam and from all of us here at Apex Racing TV on the iRacing Esports Network, bye for now.